Nvidia once controlled almost the entire market for advanced artificial intelligence chips in China. Today, that position is unraveling. A new forecast from Bernstein estimates that Nvidia's share of China's AI accelerator market could fall to just 8% in 2026, down from roughly 40% in 2025. Huawei, meanwhile, could rise to around 50%. That would represent one of the fastest reversals in the history of the semiconductor industry. But the headline needs an important qualification. Nvidia has not already been measured at 8% across the full year. 8% is a forecast based on current sales restrictions, delayed approvals, government policy, and the rapid growth of Chinese alternatives. Still, the direction is unmistakable. Nvidia once held about 95% of China's advanced AI chip market. Now Huawei and other domestic suppliers are taking the customers, software support, and infrastructure projects that Nvidia once expected to dominate. The central question is no longer whether China can build an alternative AI hardware industry. It is whether Nvidia can prevent that alternative from becoming permanent. How Nvidia lost its near monopoly. Nvidia's dominance was built on more than fast chips. Its graphics processors became the standard hardware for training artificial intelligence because developers already knew how to use them. The company's CUDA software platform gave researchers tools, libraries, and optimized code that made complex AI workloads easier to run. Chinese universities, startups, cloud providers, and internet giants built their systems around that ecosystem. When a company wanted to train a large model, Nvidia was usually the safest choice. That created a powerful feedback loop. More customers attracted more developers. More developers created more software. More software made the hardware even more valuable. At one point, Nvidia controlled approximately 95% of China's advanced AI accelerator market. Then Washington changed the rules. The United States introduced export controls designed to limit China's access to the most advanced computing hardware. The concern was that powerful AI chips could support military systems, cyber operations, surveillance, and other strategic capabilities. But those rules continued evolving. Chips that were permitted under one standard could later become restricted, and Chinese companies began asking whether dependence on an American supplier had become too risky. The H200 problem 1974 was Nvidia's H200. But approval from the United States did not guarantee immediate access to the Chinese market. Chinese authorities also had reasons to slow or discourage purchases. Beijing wants domestic companies to use Chinese technology whenever possible. Allowing unlimited imports of Nvidia hardware would weaken that strategy. So even when export permission existed, orders remained surrounded by uncertainty. This placed Nvidia between two governments with opposing objectives. Washington wanted to control China's access to advanced chips. Beijing wanted to reduce reliance on American chips. Nvidia wanted to sell. Chinese customers wanted computing power, but every transaction became a political decision. That uncertainty is one reason market share can collapse faster than product performance. A customer building a multi-year data center cannot plan around a supplier whose products may disappear after the next policy change. The safest chip is not always the fastest chip. Sometimes it is the chip that will still be available next year. How Huawei filled the gap. Huawei was ready to exploit that uncertainty. The company had already been forced to build domestic alternatives after American sanctions restricted its access to foreign technology. Its Ascend AI accelerators were initially viewed as weaker substitutes for Nvidia hardware. They faced limitations in software support, manufacturing capacity, memory bandwidth, and developer familiarity. But the gap began narrowing. Huawei improved its chips. It expanded its software tools. It worked with Chinese cloud companies, model developers, universities, and state-backed projects. Most importantly, it offered a supply chain aligned with Beijing's long-term objective of technological self-reliance. Huawei does not need every individual chip to outperform Nvidia's best product. It can compete at the system level. That means combining many accelerators, networking equipment, software, storage, and cooling into a complete computing platform. Huawei's Cloud Matrix and Atlas systems follow this approach. If one chip is less powerful, the company can connect more chips together. That increases electricity consumption and technical complexity, but it can still deliver useful computing capacity. For customers blocked from buying Nvidia hardware, an available Huawei cluster can be more valuable than an unavailable Nvidia server. This is the strategic advantage created by export controls. They do not automatically make Chinese chips better. They make Chinese chips necessary. DeepSeek changes the software question. Hardware is only part of the competition. The larger challenge for Huawei has always been software. Nvidia's CUDA ecosystem contains years of optimized libraries, developer knowledge, and compatible applications. Moving a model from Nvidia hardware to another platform can require significant engineering work. Code must be modified. Operators must be supported. Performance must be tuned. Unexpected numerical differences can appear. That creates switching costs. But China's AI industry is increasingly adapting. DeepSeek's latest flagship model was designed to operate on Huawei infrastructure. Other Chinese model developers are optimizing software for Ascend chips and domestic accelerators. This matters because every successful model weakens the assumption that serious AI development must begin with CUDA. Developers follow available infrastructure. If Chinese cloud providers deploy more Huawei systems, software teams will spend more time optimizing for Huawei. If more software runs well on Huawei, future customers will feel safer purchasing Huawei hardware. A new feedback loop begins. It is the same kind of ecosystem advantage that originally made Nvidia dominant. The difference is that Huawei's ecosystem is being accelerated by government policy, supply restrictions, and the enormous purchasing power of China's technology companies. Market share estimates must be handled carefully. Different research firms measure different categories. Some count individual accelerator cards. Others estimate revenue. Some focus only on advanced training chips. Others include lower-end inference hardware and domestic products. That explains why the available figures appear inconsistent. IDC data reported earlier in 2026 estimated that Nvidia shipped about 2.2 million accelerators in China during 2025 and held roughly 55% of the market. Bernstein estimated Nvidia at closer to 40% in 2025 and projected a fall to 8% in 2026. Those numbers cannot be treated as identical measurements, but both sources point in the same direction. Nvidia's share has fallen sharply from its former near monopoly. Domestic suppliers now represent a major part of the market. Huawei is the strongest of those suppliers, and current policy could push Nvidia's position much lower. So the important story is not whether the exact number is 8%, 10%, or something higher. The important story is that Nvidia may be losing the market structure that once protected its dominance. Can Huawei really take the lead? Huawei still faces major constraints. The company cannot freely access the world's most advanced semiconductor manufacturing equipment. Its chips are produced using Chinese manufacturing technology that remains behind the leading processes available to Nvidia through Taiwan Semiconductor Manufacturing Company. That can reduce performance, energy efficiency, and production yield. Huawei also depends on advanced memory and packaging. China is improving in those areas, but supply remains limited. A large order does not matter if the company cannot manufacture enough reliable systems. Software compatibility is another obstacle. Independent research has found that emerging accelerator platforms can support fewer operations and produce more inconsistencies than Nvidia hardware. For developers training frontier models, small software problems can become expensive delays. Nvidia also remains ahead in global developer support, networking, systems engineering, and access to advanced manufacturing. So Huawei taking the lead in China would not mean Huawei has defeated Nvidia worldwide. It would mean the Chinese market is being reorganized around availability, national policy, and domestic infrastructure. That is a different kind of victory. It is less about winning a benchmark and more about becoming the default supplier inside a protected strategic market. The role of China's other chip makers. Huawei is not the only beneficiary. Cambricon, More Threads, MetaX, Biren, and other Chinese companies are also developing AI accelerators. Some focus on training. Others target inference, cloud computing, or specialized workloads. China wants multiple domestic suppliers because dependence on one national champion would create another vulnerability. Competition can also improve products faster. Customers can compare price, software, reliability, and energy use. Investors can fund different technical approaches. Cloud providers can avoid relying completely on Huawei. However, fragmentation creates problems. Different chips may require different software tools. Developers may need to maintain multiple versions of the same model. Standards may not be mature. The industry could waste resources recreating capabilities that CUDA already provides. China therefore faces a difficult balance. It wants competition among domestic chipmakers, but it also needs enough standardization to create a coherent ecosystem. Huawei currently has the scale, customer relationships, networking equipment, and political support to lead that process. The United States introduced export controls to slow China's AI progress. In the short term, the restrictions created real pain. Chinese companies struggled to secure top Nvidia products, computing rental prices increased, smuggling became more expensive and risky. Some frontier research remained dependent on imported hardware, but the long-term effect may be more complicated. By limiting Nvidia sales, Washington reduced the competitive pressure facing Huawei inside China. Chinese customers that might have preferred Nvidia were pushed toward domestic alternatives. Those customers provided Huawei with revenue, testing data, software feedback, and large deployment opportunities. Every restricted Nvidia sale became a potential training exercise for China's semiconductor industry. This does not mean export controls were useless. Without them, Chinese companies could have purchased much larger quantities of advanced American hardware. That may have accelerated model development and military applications. But the policy created a trade-off. Restricting access to current technology can encourage development of future alternatives. The harder Washington pushes Nvidia out, the stronger the commercial foundation for Huawei may become. What this means for Nvidia China remains too large for Nvidia to ignore. Jetson Huang has estimated that the country's AI market could be worth tens of billions of dollars annually. Losing that market would reduce revenue, weaken Nvidia's global developer network, and give competitors room to scale. It could also divide the global AI industry into separate ecosystems. One system would be centered on Nvidia, CUDA, American cloud companies, and Western manufacturing partners. The other would be centered on Huawei, domestic Chinese software, local semiconductor production, and state-supported infrastructure. Once customers build data centers, train engineers, and optimize models for one ecosystem, switching becomes difficult. That is why market share today matters far beyond immediate chip sales. Nvidia may still sell approved products into China. It may design new export-compliant chips. Political negotiations could reopen access. But even if restrictions ease, Nvidia may discover that the customers have changed. Chinese companies are being encouraged to buy domestic hardware. Engineers are learning Huawei's software. Government projects are setting local content requirements. A market that once welcomed Nvidia, by default, may now treat it as a temporary foreign option. My take. My take is that the projected 8% share is not proof that Huawei has built a better chip than Nvidia. It is evidence that semiconductor markets are shaped by more than engineering. Policy, supply security, software ecosystems, manufacturing capacity, and national strategy can matter as much as raw performance. Nvidia still leads the global AI accelerator industry. Its hardware remains essential for many frontier workloads. Its software advantage is enormous. Huawei still faces serious limitations in manufacturing, energy efficiency, and developer compatibility. But inside China, the competitive rules have changed. Nvidia is no longer competing only against Huawei's chips. It is competing against China's desire to remove a strategic dependency. That is a much harder opponent. If Bernstein's forecast proves accurate, Nvidia's share could fall from a near monopoly to 8% in only a few years, while Huawei captures roughly half of the market. Even if the final number is higher, the structural shift is already visible. Export controls opened the space. Huawei filled it. Chinese developers are adapting. And every new domestic deployment makes the old Nvidia-centered market harder to restore. So what do you think? Did American export controls successfully slow China's AI development? Or did they create the conditions for Huawei to become Nvidia's most important long-term competitor? Let me know your view in the comments. And subscribe to Eastern Engine for more grounded coverage of the chips, factories, and engineering decisions reshaping the global economy. Because Nvidia may still lead the world. But in China, Huawei is building a market that Nvidia may never fully recover.